The time is 3:01 p.m. This meeting of the Finance Committee for December 11, 2025 is hereby called to order. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Alderman at-large Keith Larson.
Here.
Alderman Dan Barrero.
Here.
Alderman Edward J. Bug.
Here.
Vice Chair Carl Franco.
Here.
And Chairman Masiacos is present.
Yes, Clerk, can you please read the approval of the minutes? in total?
25-0951, approval of the minutes from the Finance Committee meeting held on November 13, 2025. 25-0965, approval of the minutes from the Special Finance Committee meeting held on November 18, 2025. 25-0969, approval of the minutes from the Special Finance Committee meeting held on November 20th, 2025.
So moved on all.
We have a motion for all
Second.
three from Alderman Carl Franco, second by Alderman Ed Bug. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Clerk, do we have any members of the public wishing to provide public comment?
No, we do not.
Okay, Clerk, well, I should say, I'd like to let the committee know I would like to move two items towards the bottom. They might require a little bit more discussion. Item 25-0975 and item 25-0787. Unless there's any objections.
No. Objection.
So
Besides 0975, and which is the other one?
0787. One is about on-light, and the other one is in regards to our proposed lobbyists.
Oh, no problem.
Okay, I'm just anticipating more conversation with that, so make sure we get through all the items today. Okay,
That's fine.
all right, thank you very much. Oh, so 975. So Clerk, can you start with, besides those two items, the next item on the agenda?
25-0953, a resolution authorizing Shannon Chrismore to provide employee assistance services for the period of January 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2026.
Okay, Ms. LaDonna Carr, welcome.
Good afternoon, Chairman Masiacos and Finance Committee members. I am LaDonna Carr, Human Resources Department, and I am the Director of Training and Development. I'm here to talk to you about the AP services the city offers to our employees and their family members. In the middle, a little background. In the middle of last year, we were notified by our provider that they would no longer be in the EAP business. We had to quickly pivot to continue assistance for our employees. We had worked with this organization for 25 plus years. They had a number of counselors that worked with them, and one of them was Shannon Chrismore, who has been working with the city for 13 plus years. She has worked with us on various situations, counseling management, consultations, referrals to community resources, crisis intervention, training and workshops on stress, suicide, reasonable suspicion, team building, and other type of trainings that she's held for us. She meets with individuals and departments and divisions when they're having trouble working as a cohesive group. She also works and monitors individuals that have positive drug and alcohol tests. We must support our employees and their family members' overall well-being. Even though all the interactions she has are confidential, many of the employees will come to me and tell me, give me positive feedback about Shannon and the services that she offers. She has been working with us since August, and December 31st, her contract will be up. I'm asking that the city continue to use her excellent services that she has provided to us and extend her contract for the 2026 fiscal year and with 1 year automatic renewal. Questions?
Question from the committee. Alderman Dan Barrero.
I move for approval.
Motion
Second.
to approve by Alderman Dan Barrero, second by Alderman Keith Larson. Any other discussion on the matter? Alderman Bug.
Thank you. Quick question. I assume you said she took over individually in her capacity rather than with the old outfit. We have to assume she has a non-compete with her old company.
Yes, and a number of them told her that it was an excellent choice that we chose her out of the individuals that worked there, and they didn't have a problem. What she told me, they didn't have a problem. I haven't been contacted by them. They've gone out of business.
Okay, they've gone out of business.
Yes,
Okay.
they aren't doing the EAP. They terminated all their counselors.
Okay, All right, so we don't have an issue there. Of course, we don't want to jump in the middle of any labor situations
No.
or non-compete clauses.
I would not put the city in that position.
Appreciate that. I second the motion. There hasn't been a
All
second.
right, we already have a motion by Alderman Guerrero, second by Keith Larson. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed 5-0. Thank you, Ms.
Thank you.
Donakar. Clerk, could you please read the next item?
25-0765, a resolution authorizing the execution of a joint funding agreement with the State of Illinois, the execution of a Phase 3 construction engineering services agreement with Baxter and Woodman, Inc. in the not-to-exceed amount of $29,731,000 and the appropriation of $352,731 of MFT funds for the Edgelon BNSF Bike Path Crossing Project.
Mr. Widener, welcome.
Thanks. Tim Widener, Engineering Division. There'll be 4 additional Legistars on this project for future reference. I'm not sure what order we're going to read them off, but just general description on the project. We've seen this before. It's just constructing a little crossing across the railroad and making a connection to the Virgil Gilman path. The first item before you is just our standard agreements when we have federally funded construction projects. Talking about the federal funds for the construction phase, and then we also have an engineering agreement with Baxter and Woodman. Maybe a couple unique things on this project is that there's railroad costs, which are not bid out with IDOT, that the railroad does directly. So we need to front fund those and then ask for reimbursement from IDOT for that. And then also, due to how small the Phase 3 contract was, we did not do a QBS and just continue with Baxter and Woodman, who did Phase 1 and Phase 2. I'll save the other agenda items for later, but that's this specific one. Any questions?
So moved.
Second.
There are 4 other resolution items in regards to this subject matter.
Would you like me to go over those?
Well, first of all, I'd like to entertain the committee's input in regards to reading 25-0892, 893, 894, and 895, so we can potentially vote on it all together. I will entertain if someone has a question on one and wants to remove it or all, if we move down the road, so be it, that there's a request. Does that make sense? Yep. All right, so clerk, could you please read the other 4 items?
25-0892, a resolution approving an intergovernmental agreement between the City of Aurora and Fox Valley Park District for the construction of a shared-use path crossing of the BNSF Railroad at Edgelon Drive. 25-0893, a resolution approving an intergovernmental agreement between the City of Aurora and Aurora Township for a detour during the construction of a shared-use path crossing of the BNSF Railroad at Edgelon Drive. 25-0894, a resolution authorizing the execution of real estate contracts to purchase property in the amount of $11,000 and appropriating MFT funds for the Edgelon BNSF Bike Path Crossing Project. 25-0895, a resolution authorizing the City of Aurora to enter into a construction and maintenance agreement with BNSF Railway Company for improvements of the crossing of the new Edgelon Drive Bike Path and the BNSF Railroad.
So 092 is an IGA with Fox Valley Park District. They continue to be a great partner with us on our projects. They're donating a temporary easement, and then technically there's a small piece of shoulder that's on their right-of-way that we'll maintain. So the IGA just covers those aspects. So they're a co-sponsor of the project but not providing any financial assistance. 093 is another IGA. This one is with Aurora Township. We basically need a detour, and we're using their roads for that. 094 is that we need to purchase a permanent easement from BNSF to do the improvements. That's $11,000. Everything else on the project is 90-10 from Phase 1 engineering through Phase 3, including construction, but this is the only cost that is 100% city. And then finally, 095 is the construction and maintenance agreement with BNSF. It's sort of related to the first item we talked about, talks about some of those costs that we're front funding and some of the future maintenance that needs to be done at the crossing. So that's all 5.
Questions? Alderman Bug?
No.
Okay.
Approve. All five.
Got a motion approved by Alderman Bugg.
Second on all of them.
Is that, Alderman Bugg, was that on all of them?
All five, yes.
Okay, and I got a second all five also from Alderman Carl Franco. Is there a way to take some of these maps and consolidate them into one for COW with some of these graphics, or no? Some of them have a graphic on them.
Yeah, I think probably there's a location map in some. I know
Right.
there's one that has the schematic kind of one-page plan profile. That's on one. So they're kind of spread out between all. I guess, would you like me to make like a consistent location map for all
Yeah, for
five?
COW, just to maybe help out if there's questions on any of them.
So
especially-
upload like the same map to all five? Is that what you're asking?
Is there a way to consolidate some of the maps in regards to what's being asked? Like, some are for corner improvements, correct? For lighting. I'm looking at one here. There's at least two of them that you have for one for Plata highways.
Are you talking about a different item?
We can talk
the
about it
Indian
offline.
Trail
We can talk
project?
about it
Okay.
offline. It's not the end of the world, but just trying to provide more clarity for our colleagues moving for COW
Okay.
when we get to that point. All right, appreciate it. So we have a motion to approve and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Thank you very much, Ms. Weiner. Clerk, could you please read the next item?
25-0766, a resolution authorizing the execution of a joint funding agreement with the State of Illinois, the execution of a Phase 3 Construction Engineering Services Agreement, HR Green, Inc., in the not-to-exceed amount of $361,489, and the appropriation of $1,085,000 of MFT funds for the Indian Trail, Ohio to Pennsbury Signal Modernization Project.
Tim Widener with Engineering Division again. Same project is 25-0912. Chairman, would you like to read that item as well?
You know what? Let's do that. Clerk, could you please read the next item too that goes along with it?
0912.
Yes, correct.
25-0912, a resolution authorizing the execution of real estate contracts to purchase properties and appropriating MFT funds required for the Indian Trail Road Signal Modernization and Resurfacing Ohio to Pennsbury project in the amount of $1,400.
So Indian Trail, we're replacing 5 signals and doing the flashing yellow arrow. There's also some small resurfacing, basically the areas that we haven't touched over the last couple of years, resurfacing Indian Trail. So again, you've seen this before, but the first item, 0766, is the construction agreements, federally funded project, sort of same spiel I gave before. We selected HR Green via QVS for the Phase 3 services. And then 0912 is basically the land acquisition for this project. And Alderman Masiacos, was this the project you were talking about with the plats and some of the different pieces?
Might have got myself mixed up,
Yeah.
but no worries. Like I said, we could talk about it offline. It's not.
Okay. But yeah, basically 4 separate parcels, 3 permanent easements, 1 piece of right-of-way. It's essentially all that some existing equipment and sidewalk was technically outside the right-of-way, so it's sort of cleaning up and making sure we can construct the project. So be happy to answer any questions.
Move for approval.
Second.
Got a motion for approval by Alderman Dambrero, second by Alderman Ed Bugg. Any other questions? No? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you so much.
Yeah. I do have 2 more later. Do you want me to do those
You
now
know
or
what?
later?
We're not later. Does the staff mind if he just stays up here? Let's keep, okay, which 2 items there?
2509 or 0891 would be the next.
All right, sure, let's read that.
25-0891, a resolution authorizing the execution of a Phase 2 design engineering supplement with Crawford Murphy and Tilly, Inc. in the not-to-exceed amount of $239,431 and the appropriation, the same amount of rebuild Illinois bond funds for the Sullivan Road reconstruction project.
Tim Widener, Engineering Division again. So this one is a Phase 2 engineering supplement. We've brought forward the Phase 3 agreements already on this project. Unfortunately, it's been delayed due to land acquisition. So this supplement is partially related to that, just having to do different submittals plus do additional land acquisition effort. Additionally, there's been some scope changes since Phase 2 agreement was originally approved. We need to redo some parking at the church, which we thought could go in one place, but after we did detailed land act, has to go in another place. Good news, they are donating that property, so we don't have to pay for it. Additionally, we requested some additional stormwater detention items, and IDOT didn't approve how we wanted to do some of the land acquisition that we originally scoped out, which forced a change. So still not 100% sure on the letting on this. We're hopeful for something in 2026, but kind of highly dependent on the right-of-way. Be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from my committee? Alderman Barrow.
Okay, go ahead. Well, I was just have a question about when we think we might start this project, because we're gonna be, guess it's gonna be closed, Sullivan, for a long time, for a number of months. So I was just kind of curious what time of the year we might be starting that.
You know, again, highly dependent on the right-of-ways, so don't know. I think we have the funding currently through all next year,
Right.
so realistically, I'm hoping for some sort of letting next year and probably construction starting in 27.
Oh, 27,
That-
okay.
Yeah, that way if there's any utilities, they
Right,
could
yeah,
get out of the
okay,
way.
all right.
There's been long lead times for traffic signal equipment, so plus that would probably work out better with IMSA being out of session over the summer.
Yeah, I mean.
And
there's
things
al-
like that,
Yeah,
so.
I mean, those are always factors. Sometimes you can't avoid them, but schools and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's
Right.
fine. So it's gonna be more in a year. We'll revisit that sometime later next year.
Right, and we've been very involved with IMSA. We had
Okay.
held the public information meeting there,
Right.
so we've been coordinating with them.
Okay,
So,
okay, good.
you know, it's one of those things. We've had some specs, but as the lighting kind of comes into focus and realistic, like we have all the right of way acquired, then we
Mhm.
can fine tune those details and
All right,
things.
all right, good, thank you.
Well, I like that question from Alderman Franco, because there's a lot of residents that live there, and residents get used to certain habits in their area. So there's talk about at least one way of flow, if any interruption is created.
Right, yeah, there'll be a detour route, and that was all talked about at the public information meeting.
Okay.
But yeah, as we get closer to construction, we'll kind of re-engage and remind everyone.
Okay, because that all costs money, and we're talking dollars here, dollars and cents, so as long as something's been put into the budget for it, when it all comes down to it, so, okay. All right.
So moved?
I got a
Second.
Motion by Alderman Carl Franco, a second by Alderman Dan Barrero. If there are any questions, all those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. We have one more for you.
Yes, 994.
Right. Could you please read the next item, Clerk? 994.
25-0994, a resolution to approve change order number 1 with Builders Paving LLC in the amount of $60,000 for the 2025 citywide resurfacing east project.
Tim Widener, Engineering Division. So we had 2 citywide resurfacing projects out to bid this year. One came in a decent amount under, and this one came in over. So aggregate together will be under. This one, since it's over $50,000, had to bring it forward to City Council. And actually, it might be more like 31,000 after we were kind of tuning some things. So it was already agenda ready, so I thought I'd come up here and describe it. So pretty much just some of our concrete items were a little bit higher than expected after the winter. So that was the cause.
Okay. Questions by the committee? Alderman Barrero.
Move for approval.
Motion for approval by Alderman Dan Barrero,
Second?
second by Alderman Carl Franco. Question by Alderman Bug.
Just a general question. In reading through the legislation text, do you have the general idea where the increased expense was for sidewalks? What general areas?
I don't know that offhand, but we
Okay.
do have everything broken down by ward, so I could analyze that and let you know.
Yeah, if you shot that into Legistar for
Yeah.
COW, that'd be great. I know the residents are very happy when their sidewalks are done. That's something that they talk about all the time, so we appreciate you doing the work.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Anything else, Mr. Weiner, here today?
That is it, thank you.
This must be the fastest one you ever had in your career for this amount, too. Well, thank you very much. Clerk, could you please read the next, yes, the next item on the agenda, please?
25-0834, a resolution authorizing purchase of property, boiler, machinery, fine arts, cyber and excess cyber liability, crime, special events liability, drone liability, general liability, law enforcement, auto liability, excess workers' compensation, and liquor liability insurance policies for the period of December 31st, 2025 through December 31st, 2026.
Welcome, Dr. Caputo.
Thank you, Chairman. Brian Caputo, Director of Operations Management. What you have are the property and casualty coverage renewals for 2026. The largest of these are certainly general liability and workers' comp and property. There are some smaller ones there. For general liability, we have, as you've heard many times before, we've got a self-insured retention of $2 million. And then there are coverage really of $35 million layered on top of that. And I think if you look in Exhibit E in your packet, it's a real great, I think, a great summary. Hub did a fine job in kind of highlighting things. If you look on page, oh, they're not numbered, it's the page 4, including the title page. You can see the various coverage levels in the layers. They did an excellent job, I will say, at marketing the coverages. If you look on page 3 of that exhibit, you can see all the different companies that were consulted for the various lines. And so we had really quite competitive environment for really most of the lines. The total premium for all of these different lines, that's shown on the last page of Exhibit E, $3,039,022, and compares quite favorably with the prior year. All the same coverage levels, which is a decrease of 3.78%, or about $120,000, and that can be attributed just generally a little bit softer market this year. So we benefited from that. Those are the highlights. I also have brokers here from Hub, Stephen Marcos, and also Walter Braunschweig, that worked on this marketing for us. So we're quite pleased.
I have a question. I know we spoke about it, and I appreciate you very much calling me at the last minute, about an hour ago exactly, or an hour and a half ago. Actually, it's 2 hours ago. I noticed that you said we had some savings here. I noticed that in the docket, which is...
I think your question was more directed toward medical insurance. That's
No.
Oh,
But
okay.
I have another question here in regards to this. I think we've had this level of $2 million for the past 12, 13 years.
It's been a while.
Since we have a certain level of savings here, when we found out about it, was there ever consideration of increasing our liability insurance deductible?
Well, I think we're really very healthy right now with that $35 million. We really, the types of claims that we're likely to have, I mean, you can always get one that's an incredible outlier, but I think we're pretty well covered with 35. I don't know if anyone from Hub, you want to comment on that at all?
Sure.
Or conversely...
Either
Okay,
one.
all right.
I'll take this one.
Okay.
Hi. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, welcome. Would you please state your name?
Everyone. I'm Steve Marcus with Hub International.
Thank you.
Yeah, as Brian pointed out, I mean, we've talked about trying to benchmark this a little bit, and it's really hard to benchmark public entities because of geographic areas and the size. I mean, there's not a lot of consistency, So we kind of look at claims, and we feel like based on the historical claims, the retention is, I think, an adequate retention, and I feel like the limits are certainly adequate. I mean, we have seen outliers. We've seen some large, especially here in Illinois, some very large verdicts, but we feel like that $35 million is the appropriate limit.
That's a lot of insurance.
Yeah.
Right, I was just thinking about our deductible, though.
Changing the deductible?
If you have
Raising it?
savings in a deductible,
We have not looked at that. We have, again, just looking at the kind of the historical claims. I mean, if we were to raise that, I think because of, if you look at the structure and you kind of look at the primary, which is the first 5 million layer for liability, the premium is under $500,000. And I feel like we'll lose, we could certainly look at that in the future, but I feel like we lose, you lose a little bit of, by increasing that, we're not going to gain that much in savings, if that's what you're trying to.
I'm trying to get at what
ask.
are the benefits, plus and minus, whether it
Well,
goes up or goes
the-
down a little bit.
The higher that you push the self-insured retention, of course, you take on more risk.
Yeah.
It does reduce your premium, but it's all a matter of the risk. So what we can do for next year, we actually were talking about this, is doing kind of more of a deep dive. I've been here a year and a half, back with the city, to really understand the exposures better. There might be some adjustment there, but 2 million, I think, is when you start to lower it and take on more risk, so that's, what you're doing is you're purchasing more insurance, and that's
Okay.
going to be more expensive.
When I meant lowering, I'm going to correct myself, is the deductible. In regards to the deductible that we have, a $2 million deductible.
That's self-insured retention, right?
Right. Is there any savings, we take the savings and lower our deductible, or put those savings into raising our deductible or lowering? I mean, either way, what are the costs and plus and minuses? of that?
Well, we didn't, frankly, this year, we have not measured that. So my feeling would be that if we did find some savings this year, and what we can look at going forward, and we will look at, I think, and we've talked, Brian and I have talked about this, is, if we continue to see some softening, and we did see, as Brian pointed out, some softening on just a few areas, primarily the property market. There's been some stability there. We haven't had the large weather events, so that, and some of the cost of construction has stabilized. But I think if we want to try to find some savings, we may end up looking at reducing the limits, and if you want to take on less risk and apply those savings to potentially some lower retentions. But if we can look at that going forward.
Yeah, it's, in my personal, I mean, it's not municipal insurance, but a separate type. When I look at my insurance coverage, say for my firm, whenever you change a variable, sometimes you just get some different responses back in regards to savings or whatnot. And I'm just wondering if it was looked into, whether raising a deductible or lowering a deductible, and what would that mean in regards to costs?
We did not look at that for this year, but we certainly can add some sensitivity analysis, if you will, to it for next year. Ask for quotes that are at, 1 million of self-insured retention, 5 million, something like that, and see what it does to the quotes.
Yeah, okay. Because my experience is you just change one variable and you can get different responses back.
Yeah.
From different companies, so.
Yeah.
All right, I have no concern with this resolution. I just want to know if that was looked into, or if we can look into it in the future, maybe. 2 million's been the same amount since I first came in 13 years ago, in terms of our personal exposure. I'm not looking to increase it, don't get me wrong, but it's good to see that we're getting some type of savings here, and I appreciate that from you, Mr. Morco, and your organization, so. Any other questions for the committee?
Move for approval.
Yeah, one question.
A question by Alderman Bug.
Thank you. Dr. Caputo, this is possibly a small issue, but the way it reads here, December 31, 2025 to December 31, 2026, it doesn't say the time. Your contracts start at midnight on January 1, 2026. So are we covered December 31 under both contracts?
You want to respond to that?
Yeah,
Steve?
yeah, that's a good question, and probably a correction we should make. Thank you for complimenting our proposal. Two takeaways. We'll correct that next year because the policy does expire at midnight on the 31st of the current policy. The new policy begins at 12:01 a.m. on January 1st. So we'll make that correction, and we'll remember to number the pages in these proposals going forward.
Okay, I've got a motion to approve by Alderman Damborero.
I second it.
Oh, second by Alderman Carl Franco. If there are no further questions, all those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you very much for stepping up to the podium, Mr. Marlborough. Good seeing you. All right, clerk, could you please read the next item on the agenda?
25-0858, a resolution authorizing approval of the Year 2 true-up invoice under the 3-year enterprise agreement for Microsoft software purchased through the State of Illinois Department of Innovation and Technology Joint Purchasing Contract, CMT number 1176800 with Dell Marketing LP in the amount of $303,804.24.
Welcome, Mr. Anderson.
Thank you, Chairman Franco. Jeff Anderson, Deputy CIO, members of the committee. This is annual renewal of Microsoft licenses. This is year 2 of the 3-year enterprise agreement we have. We do an annual true-up based on licenses we purchased throughout the last year. Normally, this comes to us in March or April. We bring this to finance. This was the first time that we have had Dell be the one who managed the contract for the state of Illinois. When they approached us back in April with costs, they had prices all over the place, and we had to go through a whole negotiation to make them understand that we agreed to prices a year ago and got us down from $380,000 to where we're at today, which is $303,000, which is accurate. And so ready to bring this forward and advance this. I'll just say, look for this again in March or April. We'll come right back with this, and hopefully the negotiation won't take this long.
Alderman Bug.
Yeah, as I went through this, what was the true number for year 1?
So
we're creating the true number for year 2 now.
So we agreed to an enterprise agreement, and the resolution is written in here. I don't have the exact dollar amounts. I want to say it's roughly, we pay them roughly $580-something thousand a year. I can get that before COW.
Okay.
And then each year we pay for additional licenses, and in this case, usage in the cloud annually, right? So what the enterprise agreement gets you out of is as people come and go, you're not buying and dropping licenses throughout a 3-year process. You've agreed to a price in year 1, and you pay the same for all 3 years.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So moved.
I have a motion by Alderman Franco.
Second.
Second by Alderman Damborero. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Do you have any other items, Mr. Anderson?
I do.
You're here.
I have item 25-1001.
All right, if the committee's okay with it, clerk, could you please read that item into the record?
1001, a resolution to approve the award of cellular phone services to Cellco Partnership DBA Verizon Wireless using the most recent State of Illinois contract and a one-time retention credit and a 1-year term.
Mr. Anderson.
Again, Jeff Anderson, the Deputy CIO. Thank you, Chairman Misiakos. We started this process to go out and potentially look for a new cell carrier back in 2023. I won't read all of this off to you, but you can see what's happened in the meantime as we went and got new laptops for a whole bunch of folks. We wanted, and especially public safety, we wanted to be able to test all of that equipment. There was lots of tests that went on. Then Verizon got in negotiation with the state of Illinois once we had selected Verizon as the winner to extend their contract 1 more year. So in essence, what we have here in front of you is we will continue with Verizon. We will continue using the state contract, and I've spelled out, potential monthly savings, right? As people come and go and cell phones come and go, those numbers fluctuate monthly. So that's spelled out on mine on page 2 in here. What they did, instead of writing a contract specifically for Aurora, right? They want to stay at the state contract level. They then gave us a $392,000 one-time retention credit. So in essence, we will have very little for a cell phone bill in 2026. So they'll add this to our account and we'll chip away at it throughout the year. So I would expect sometime, don't hold me to this please, I would expect sometime in October, we'll actually have a bill we'll start having to pay.
Are you finished?
Yes.
Oh, all right, I wasn't sure. Okay,
Yeah.
just real quick, layman's terms, how do we get to $392,000 of savings?
So, Verizon knew we were looking at it, this is the beauty of doing an RFP and the way we do it through Marketplace where it's public and everybody knew, right? They knew who their competitor was. And the other side knew who their competitor was too, right? So they wanted to keep us, right? And so that's the number they came up with, which, depending on how we use it, could be almost a year's worth. At this point, I'm hedging a little bit that we won't get a full year out of it, but that was their intent, was to keep us and give us basically a full year's credit.
All right, great. All right, incentivized to keep
Yeah.
us. All
It
right.
was great. It was a long-running effort. I just want to take, a couple of seconds to thank the purchasing department, Jolene in particular on this, ran with us for, 18 months or however long we described it in here. Police and fire were great about testing equipment. We bounced it around to all the different precincts and all the different vehicles and equipment that they had throughout this. This was a team effort to get to this point and realize we need to just, stay where we're at.
All right, great. Thanks for sharing that. Alderman D'Ambrero.
No, I'd just like to commend the staff. Thank you very much. This is great. This is great news. Thank you for your efforts.
I was hoping you'd like it here at the end of the year.
That's great. That's great. Any other questions?
So moved.
Got a motion.
Second.
By Alderman Carl Franco, second by Alderman Bug. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you for that holiday gift.
I do have one
To the
more. I
taxpayer.
think I actually have two more. You've moved one to the end, though. 0975's at the end. I have 1006.
Yes, let's do that one. Clerk,
Okay.
could you read that one at the bottom?
25-1006, a resolution authorizing the Director of Purchasing to enter into an agreement with L3 Harris of Melbourne, Florida, to purchase new radio computer consoles for $457,821.48.
Again, Jeff Anderson, Deputy CIO. This is to buy new computer consoles in both the 911 centers we have, called the primary and the secondary. The backup centers in Fire Station 8, the primaries in the police department. There are computers at each of the dispatch stations that allow them to talk directly to folks that are on the radios. These are currently running an outdated version of Windows. This is to bring them to the current version and new hardware, et cetera. And L3 Harris is part of our maintenance agreement with them. We buy these through them. They harden them. They build them in Lynchburg, Virginia. They bring them out and install them, and then they'll maintain them for us for the life of the device. So if you've been to the dispatch center, the folks there are not picking up radios, right? They're talking through a computer headset through the system.
I move for approval.
Second?
Motion approved by Alderman D'Ambrero, second by Alderman Carl Franco. Alderman Larson, you have a question?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm just curious, because I see in the legislation text that the current consoles are not compatible with Windows 11. Do we know approximately how old those are?
We would have installed those when we did the console upgrades. I believe that was in, it was either 2020, I believe. I can find that out. Yeah.
Okay.
I believe that's exactly what we did, because we, as part of this whole getting ready for P25, the first thing we did was upgrade the consoles in the 911 center.
Mhm. Yeah, I know Windows makes it difficult to upgrade hardware beyond a certain point because of their added requirements. So, I mean, I guess a little frustrating that you have to do that, but we have to upgrade to Windows 11 also.
Correct. Yeah, and we are doing the same thing throughout the rest of the city. A percentage that I would put on it now is probably 75 or greater of our machines, 75% or greater of our machines are able to take the upgrade directly, and we have some we'll have to replace, and we'll do that as a normal course of business when we bring the PO forward in probably January for computer purchases.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
No other questions by the committee? All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
No, thank you. You, Mr. Widener, got a streak going on today. One shot, all of them. All right. Clerk, could you please read the next item?
25-0955, a resolution authorizing the city to accept a grant award from the Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus of $22,000 to support energy efficiency outreach and education.
Welcome.
Welcome myself. Hi, I'm Allison Lindberg, Director of Sustainability. I do have a very short presentation, just so you can learn a little bit more about this grant. So basically, in November, the Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus put out an RFP for proposals for a grant that can help citizens to learn more about energy efficiency. We applied, and we are going to receive $22,000. It's part of the low-income energy efficiency outreach and engagement grants, which are funded through ComEd and then distributed via the Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus for the purpose of providing outreach and education on energy efficiency to low-income residents. This will cover staff time. It will also cover some canvassing staff, some travel, and some promotional materials. It will also cover some of the Green Fest costs, which we're very excited about. This grant acceptance form must be signed no later than December 17th of this year, and we do have to spend at least some grant funds by the end of the year. The grant does go for approximately 1 year to the end of 2026. So just a little bit more, this is specifically designed to help income-eligible households that's at or below 80% of the area median income to reduce their energy bills. We will be trying to provide engagement with at least 1,000 income-eligible residents through this grant. We will be providing direct training and education, and we will also be promoting and leveraging various programs and financial incentives across multiple engagement platforms. So that's what I've got for you today.
Questions, Alderman Tamburo?
Yes, my question is, will there be any metrics involved in terms of any savings for households through this program?
Yes, we will be doing our best to track that as much as we can, as this is through ComEd. We're hoping to also get some information back from them. And this is going to be part of a larger sustainability effort to provide education just in general around energy efficiency. While this grant is targeting a specific income-eligible population, we hope to actually do this across Aurora. We will also be tracking that information to our best possibilities.
Thanks.
Question.
Question, Alderman Franco?
So there's no money coming from the city coffers for this. This is all grant-related money. There's no matching, like if we get 22,000, we have to throw an X amount of money. It's just all, that's all that.
No, we did not have to provide a match for this grant.
Okay, thank you.
Alderman Bug?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I just want to commend you, and this is fantastic. I know my colleagues and myself, we received a number of questions when it kind of came up that Greenfest, which was a independent festival, was coming under the city, and the city would have to pay for it. So we received a number of questions about that. Very happy to see that we were able to receive a grant to help out with that. So that's fantastic, and will alleviate some concerns from our residents. So thank you.
Great, thanks.
Yeah, just like Mr. Anderson, Christmas come early for you as well here for the residents. My question to you is, I'm reading a line, promoting program incentives to support affordable energy efficient housing. Is that something that could be applicable to something that is going to be discussed here further in the budget? I'm sorry, in this agenda in regards to on-light?
Oh, I have no idea.
No?
I'm sorry,
Okay.
I'm not familiar with the on-light
Okay.
agenda.
All right, well,
I don't.
we'll worry about that. No? Okay, well, we'll worry about it when it comes up.
Okay, I can tell you that this is specific to homes and residents in, within a specific eligibility income eligibility requirement. So if on-light's not dealing with that, then no, it will not apply.
Gotcha, okay. All right, well, maybe we could work it out later when the next agenda item comes up. All right, well,
Move for approval.
we got a motion for
Second.
approval by Alderman Tamburero, second by Alderman Ed Bug. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Clerk, could you read the next item on the agenda?
25-0961, a resolution authorizing the city to accept a grant award of $75,540.81 from the FY26 Illinois Department of Transportation Sustained Traffic Enforcement Program, STEP.
Welcome, Lieutenant.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Chairman Maziakos, committee members. I am Tom McNamara, the current Administrative Services Lieutenant for the Police Department. This item is seeking City Council approval to accept a grant award in the amount of $75,540.81 from Illinois Department of Transportation, specifically for their STEP grant, which stands for Sustained Traffic Enforcement Program. This is a grant that is an annual grant we apply for. We've been lucky enough to receive this several years running now. It focuses on traffic safety enforcement, specifically allowing officers to conduct traffic details on specific holidays as outlined in the background section there. Think of your big holidays that would typically result in enforcement or the detection of DUIs, driving behavior that is dangerous to the motoring public. So this is a complete reimbursement grant. Full disclosure, there's one, if you looked at the budget for this, there's one item for equipment. It's $1,750. It is a grant. It's included in the award, but it is required that we order this. It's for a LiDAR detection device. It's think of your old school radars, but it's laser. It's light. That has to be purchased by December 31st. It doesn't have to be paid for, but it has to be ordered by then, which is the importance of this item today. In full disclosure, since we've applied for the grant, prices have gone up, so we're anticipating the city's side of that will be roughly $100 to $150. We fully anticipate to be able to cover that out of our current budget under the traffic division for that type of equipment. So not a big deal, but just want you guys to be aware of that. I know it's a full plate tonight, so I'll keep this short, and I'll take any questions if there are.
I'll see if your luck runs. It keeps running like for everybody else so far. Any questions from the committee? Alderman
Just
Bug.
one. Thank you. I read through all the holidays that were mandated to put forth an effort, and then you got the quote-unquote big game. I won't call it by the other. I don't want any copyright infringement. Do we do a detail on that football weekend?
So we try to hit all of the holidays that they have mentioned. I believe that the big game is kind of like a ancillary one that we're able to do. If we are able to put together a detail, have enough officers volunteer for that, the answer would be yes. We're also able, per the grant, to conduct details outside of those holidays. If there's something maybe going on in town, or we just, scheduling purposes, can't hit the holiday specifically, we'll try to be in and around that.
Okay.
Historically, the police department is a very good performer in this grant. State really likes our results in this. So,
Have we done it previously on that football weekend?
I wouldn't know specifically. I'll ask. I'm going to phone a friend on this one.
Okay. Well, that's a good friend to have.
Hi, Lieutenant Andy Walcott. I am the Special Services Lieutenant with the Police Department, and the traffic unit falls under me, so that's why I'm up here. Yes, we have done these for outside of these, including for weekends such as the big game. We've been really stepping this up. We found out that there's much smaller suburbs to closer into the Cook County area and northern DuPage County area that are getting up to $200,000 a year for this enforcement. So if you look back historically at these grant approvals, we've gone up about $25,000 every year of what we're asking for. We're just trying to make sure that we can manage that and we can fill that over time. But when we see these small departments getting 200,000, that long-term, that's our goal. Like, we'd like to, if we can use that overtime to be out there and have that presence out there and have those contacts and deter people from speeding and doing these traffic violations and prevent DUI crashes and like that. But if you look, I think we started 20,000 and we went up to 40, then it was 60, and I think we're going up to 75. So we're stepping it up. And we have also, starting for 25, and again for this next year, have added this additional enforcement hours that Lieutenant McNamara was mentioning, which is outside of these special dates where we have a complaint of speeding or an issue in a neighborhood, reckless driving, we can actually use overtime money to send these. I think in 25 with 232 hours of overtime that we could throw at problems like this. So we've really been happy with it and how the results, and we just keep planning on stepping up. I think it was like Carroll Stream, I think, and then maybe like Cicero are getting like 200,000 a year, and we just want to keep building that up.
Okay. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Move for approval.
Got a motion by Alderman Dan Barrero, a second by Alderman Ed Bugg. If there are no further questions, all those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
All right.
We don't have anything else, do we, Lieutenant?
I have two other ones, but I think I'm scheduled for the very end.
Yes, you are.
Okay.
Yep, thank you. My apologies, but there's a method to this madness here we're working on today. I appreciate also the consideration of the committee as well and their patience. Clerk, could you please read the next item?
25-0979, a resolution superseding all previous resolutions pertaining to and amending pay plans for employees in the non-exempt pay plan.
Sorry about that. Michelle Clark, Interim Chief Human Resource Officer. 0979 is the execution of the non-exempt pay plan that would go into effect on 1 January. The team reviewed this, and largely we have the changes are just correcting some language. No major additions or subtractions in this one. Do you have any questions about it?
Would you cover the record what you have mentioned in the discussion portion of your memo? Just briefly.
What did we cover in the discussion?
Do you have Granicus in front of you or no?
No, I don't.
No. The pay plan reflects a 2% cost of living adjustment to all pay grades?
Yeah, we, for both executive and non-exempt, we are going to have a 2% COLA increase this year.
Okay, all right. And last year it was how much?
I was not, was it? I don't know. I'd have to depend on staff, and I'll make sure to have that for Cal. I don't know what it was last year.
Okay. Okay. Question, Alderman Dan Barrero.
I move for approval.
Second.
Second by Alderman Ed, motion by Alderman Dan Barrero, second by Alderman Ed Bugg. Yeah, it'd be good if you can bring some of that information of comparison, at least for COW. We greatly appreciated
I'll do that.
when you come before us and at the dais. So, all those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Clerk, would you please read the next item on the agenda?
25-0980, a resolution superseding all previous resolutions pertaining to and amending pay plans for the employees in the executive pay plan.
So again, this Michelle Clark, Interim Chief Human Resource Officer. This is the pay plan. We're seeking approval for the pay plan for the executives. Again, at 2% COLA and lots of language cleanup based on the some budget and some reorganizations of departments.
Alderman, I mean, sorry.
Wow, I've gotten a
Chief
got a promotion
Cameron.
Shannon Cameron, Chief of Staff. Just to answer your last question, last year's pay plan COLA was 3.5%, or this year's 2025.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Okay. Any questions by the committee?
I have a question.
Question, Alderman Dan Barrero.
Yeah, so is this COLA adjustment included in the 2026 budget?
It is.
And also, are there any adjustments in certain positions, or everybody staying the same grade?
I guess I'm not sure I
Are
understand.
there any positions that are moving from one grade to another?
Shannon Cameron, Chief of Staff. I can answer for one. We are making Dr. Brian Caputo Chief Operating Officer. He came in at grade 17, but at the end of that grade, we have changed that to grade 21, but still at the same pay.
Is that the only one?
It's the only one that I know of.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So
I have no
the,
further questions.
oh, thank you, Alderman.
Okay. Alderman Ed Bug, a question?
No. Motion approved.
Motion approved by Alderman Ed Bug,
Second.
second by Alderman Carl Franco. If there are no further questions, all those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
You sure you want to leave that other one at the end? I'm happy to stay up here.
Pardon me?
You sure you want to leave that?
Yes.
I tried.
Yep, that's okay. Thank you. Clerk, could you please read the next item on the agenda?
25-1002, a resolution to enter into a 3-year ATM space lease agreement with Old Second Bank.
Good afternoon. Chairman Masiacos and committee. Lisa Zepeda, Revenue Collections Manager. The lease is for the ATMs that we have at various city hall locations, City Hall, the train stations, and at Phillips Park Golf Course. And the lease was set to expire at the end of this month, so we are renewing that lease for another 3 years. And have adjusted the payment from $150, we're now getting $175 per ATM location per month. Were there any questions or?
Any questions by the committee?
So moved.
Motion approval by Alderman Carl Franco, second by Alderman Dan Barrero. If there aren't further questions, all those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you very much. I hope you feel better soon.
Thank you.
Clerk, could you read item 25-0975? Pardon me? Oh, yeah, he'll let us know afterwards.
25-0975, a resolution authorizing the execution of a services agreement between the city and Online Aurora to provide internet services to the Habitat Green Freedom subdivision.
Alderman Larson.
Thank you. Before we proceed with this, I am a member of the Online Board. I don't receive any compensation from Online, and I never will, but just to keep everything perfectly above board, I'm going to recuse myself from this agenda item.
All right, thank you for letting us know. Clerk, could you please make that note? Okay, Alderman Larson has chosen to leave the chamber for this item. Mr. Anderson.
Chairman Masiacos, Jeff Anderson, Deputy CIO. Again, members of the committee, thank you. Bringing this forward here, in both 2023 and 2024, Council approved getting fiber to the Habitat for Humanity subdivision. These are 17 unique low-income, high-efficiency homes. If you've not seen the model home, I suggest you go there, right? The intent is to provide these occupants with smart utilities that they can control via whatever, their smartphone, their tablets, whatever, wherever they're at, and give them feedback on usage throughout their home. This particular item is necessary at this point because the model home is opened. Online is providing service. This brings to a close the city's agreement here to provide internet access to this community of 17 homes within the city. So the amount in here is based upon our best guess as to when the houses will come online throughout the next 2 years, and they want 2 years at the end of it, if you saw the way it was worded. There is also a section 8 that's in here that gives the city an out if things change and either We don't want OnLight to supply it, or OnLight is different in a different form. There's a section in here that allows the city to work with NICOR to change the arrangement and step away from it. We'll take questions at this point.
Yes, Alderman Franco.
So, in the agreement, was it said that they're gonna get free internet service, or they're gonna be able to get internet service from OnLight? And I just want, and is it free? Are they paying anything for this? Do we
So
know?
the residents will not pay for the study portion of it. So the discussion point in the agreement so far with NICOR was, NICOR wanted 2 years of guaranteed internet from the city as part of this, when we agreed to this. So they could do their testing and determine, the effectiveness of all the equipment, the home, all of that stuff, in addition to how the homeowners are going to use it. Are they using it effectively, so they can teach them throughout the time frame. They wanted to make sure that they had the internet access. So the residents themselves, at the end of their 2-year study, will be able to get internet access from whoever they choose at that point. We're hoping, right, if everything works out, that they would just keep the access that they have been provided, and start paying, if everything works out, they're paying OnLight. If not, they're paying whoever, the city has had come in to replace them.
So for 2 years, they're gonna get free internet service?
Correct.
All right, and they pay nothing?
The residents of the
They'll
home will pay
nothing for that
nothing.
internet
That's
service.
correct.
Okay. All right, and the reason I ask that is because there's a lot of low-income housing in Aurora, and I'm trying to figure out why they're so special that they're gonna get it for free without putting in anything at all. It doesn't seem very equitable, so it surprises me. I mean, a study's a study, but 2 years of free internet service is pretty significant, where others are probably struggling to pay for it from whatever provider. And I just want to make sure that we treat all our people who are in that specific income class the same, so it's a little, I was kind of surprised that we didn't do that.
And I'll admit, it's a true question, and I'll stand
Sure.
here and say, I'm a technologist,
I
right?
know,
I understand, this is that's more of a political question, but I understood this to be the first of many opportunities to look at things like this, right? This was presented to us does the city want to participate in this program? And in 2023 and 2024, we said yes. Right, and so here we are, and we know all the other things. I'm just trying to speak to this, to kind of wrap this up. OnLight is currently providing to the model home, and they will as the other homes come online.
Well, so let me ask you a question then too. If it's a 2-year agreement, and there's some homes that might not get on for another year or year and a half, maybe, because they're building them, would that 2 years be from now until the end? If they come in for the 6 months, they're only in there for 6 months?
And
or is this-
I apologize, and I'm sorry I apologize for keep calling it a 2-year agreement. It is 2 years after the last house comes online,
okay.
which I don't have and we know the construction schedules may change, right? Although these homes are unique, they are a styrofoam and concrete construction, they go up much faster than others. They are looking, I believe, at houses they'll be coming online, and the last one's in 2027, so the estimate date now is 2029, right? But there is a clause in there that says if some of that slips, we would be 2 years after whatever that last house is.
And we're capped at $90,000 regardless if it's 2 years or 5 years from the last home?
That was our best guess estimate based on today, right? If we come back, we'll come back and ask for more if necessary, right? I think we're well covered within that, what we've estimated. I think we put forth a worst case, like they all come online.
Sure.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Alderman Barrow.
Yeah, it's a question. So, I guess a comment first. So we have a meeting coming up next week regarding OnLight. So I don't know how that meeting, the information in that meeting affects this. Because in my mind, I was thinking that, why doesn't OnLight subsidize this for the residents? At what point is OnLight, and you probably can't answer this, but at what point is OnLight going to be, be able to do that financially, as opposed to right now looking to the city to do that?
Yeah, and again, there's a lot of things, as a city employee, I'll answer it this way, right, is that the city had made the arrangement with OnLight and was to provide internet to OnLight. That's the arrangement. So this is how we're doing it right now, is through that vehicle. OnLight exists, the city would pay OnLight in order to provide the service to NICOR.
Dr. Caputo.
Brian Caputo, Director of Operations Management. This is not something that OnLight has would have the capacity to support. It's just very basically, I think that might answer your question.
Mr. Anderson, the infrastructure's there?
And
In
the
front of the-
infrastructure is,
in
I'll
front of
say it's in the
development?
neighborhood. My understanding is as of yesterday, the fiber is in the backyards, if you will. The utilities have been put in and looped around the backyards of the neighborhood, and they'll be connected to the houses as they come online. Again,
On poles or underground?
in the ground.
In the ground, so it's all underground?
Yes, sir.
And it's around the development? It's right
Correct.
there, we don't have to extend it, or OnLight doesn't have to extend it another
No.
block or 2 or a mile?
No, the city, the resolutions that are referenced in here, the city brought it right to the entrance of the subdivision, if you
Okay.
will. And so then the connection has been made, the loop throughout the neighborhood has been made.
Okay, so what happens if they go with another service? What happens to those connections?
So, you know, all kinds of things could happen. Again, that's more of a political answer. You know, are those physical connections sold to someone, or do we bring in someone else's connections? Right? There's a whole slew of answers there that most of those really aren't technical, but there's many solutions there. Right?
Potential additional cost?
Again, but, you know, I'm not, you know,
Well, 'cause this is where
potentially
I'm going at it.
potentially no cost either. Right? To be fair, I understand your question.
My
Right.
question is regarding the infrastructure. I mean, we
Right.
bring the infrastructure to the property.
Right.
We put in the sublines to each home.
Right.
What happens if one person says, I don't want it? Then what happens? And then everybody
So-
else wants it?
So they, all 17 of them will get it for the duration of this arrangement through, let's just say online, you know, is they're throughout the whole duration, they would get it all from online. Once, or if we stepped away and we worked with them to get someone else in there, they'd all get it from the same provider. What NICOR wanted was no, I want to put this, differences in the internet connectivity they were being provided, right? They wanted level set, equal bandwidth to all 17 houses so they could have a fair test.
Okay, but to continue on the
Sure.
thought. So we're giving it to them for X amount of dollars.
Mhm.
Some people are just maybe say, you know what, it's great, I love the price, but I don't like the service. For what reason, they're committed to go and paying X plus Y with somebody else. Will they be able to do that
After the 2 years, I mean, and that's really more of a
without?
their arrangement between, you know, the homeowners are gonna sign an agreement between Habitat and NICOR when they move in.
Right.
Right, that for the 2-year period from their move-in date till 2 years after that, they're going to get internet through the arrangement that Habitat and NICOR have provided them.
So
After that
Habitat
point,
is controlling the contract?
Habitat and NICOR
Right, so it's not,
combined, yes.
sort of what I'm getting is, it's not the individual resident?
Not until the 2 years are up.
2 years are up?
Yeah.
So it could be a potential crisscross in regards to service?
Yeah, after the testing period is over, yes, the homeowners then would be free to choose, you know, the internet service that they would like.
So there's a potential additional cost to us after this 2-year period?
If they brought in another provider, you know, they'd have to have that provider hook it up.
All right, so they have
Right.
to pull their own lines?
Correct.
Okay, so they're going to be piggybacking or just right on top
Right.
of our line?
Right, and again, so some of these things get a little political, right? You know, if we decided to get out entirely, we could relinquish all those assets to a provider, right? I mean, there's a dozen ways to do it that you know,
All
or
right.
more that I don't think would cost us any money. I'm not going to stand here and guarantee you.
No,
it's
but I
no.
appreciate the fact
But-
that you thought about it. That's the
Yeah.
key. It's where I want to get at, you know, thinking about what
Yeah.
could happen after 2 years. And now we don't find ourselves 2 years down the road and saying, oh, we didn't think about this, and oh, it's going to cost us maybe another $10,000 theoretically, right?
Yeah, yeah, and I understand it's a difficult situation for where we are right now when we look at the entity. It's a tremendous upside for this community and potential down the road.
Well, there could be a
right?
potential upside if this thing
Yeah.
really works out for
Yes.
for the community there and also for OnLight, hopefully, right?
Right.
Okay, all right. Any other questions by the committee? No?
Yes.
Alderman Burrow.
So is this a pilot? I mean, are we looking to roll this out to other neighborhoods, other developments?
So-
I mean,
so
is this a one-time?
NICOR approached us for this, right? So we are the first one to go live in the Midwest. I think they have another one that's going to come live in, I think it's Carpentersville, I think. But we're really, and I'll challenge you to go understand the technology there. It's really unique from where I stand. They're able to determine based on the temperature outside and the cost of utilities, what is the best thing to use. So this is the first time they're moving in gas, electric, solar, and all the options because of our cold weather, right? So when we were out at the mobile home, they said that, or at the model home, they said that the gas had turned on the night before for the first time because it got below 35 degrees, and that's all automatic, right? To this point, Nicor has one that they've asked to put in. I don't know that this will be the last one for them. You know, if it's successful, perhaps there's a partnership there. Right? Okay. Again, you know, more political, right? And we executed from an IT standpoint on this. Is that a fair answer?
I guess just to Carl's, Alderman Franco's point about the rest of the community looking for similar benefits.
I mean, and, you know, I'm standing here, we're talking a lot about this, you know, remember that to get to this point where we're just closing off and saying, now we're gonna provide utility here, right? There were a lot of folks from, you know, planning, zoning, engineering, everything, permits that were involved in this to get us to this point, to get this community where it is, right? So this is the last little component in my mind, right? So, I mean, not minimizing all of what you would just ask, but I think those same questions could be asked about the building materials and all of those kinds of things throughout this project, right? You know, would it make any sense to use any of the concrete and styrofoam construction throughout town because it's more energy efficient, right? Good questions, I think, to be asked.
Point of just clarification, you didn't mention that the model home is already connected?
It is.
And is there any data already coming out of that?
I'm sure it is. It's Nicor. It's privy to Nicor at this point. We are not gathering and monitoring any of that.
All right,
It's
because
not
I'm
our-
just
not our role in
curious
this.
if there's any way to provide any information. I mean, that's what's the date on it.
That's a good question. I can ask him. I don't know. You know, there's no one living there now is the thing, right? You're just going to get the automatics that turned on to keep the insides from freezing, if you will. I think it'll be more valid when homeowners actually start moving in, I believe, in the spring.
Okay.
So when you start getting
All right.
valid
Okay.
data. Yeah.
Well, I just want to know if they have,
Yeah.
at least if they have started collecting any type of data on that model home. Be great to know, just a general yes or no on that.
I will ask the question. I'll also ask too if there can be, you know, because I know there was an opening. It was probably hard for a lot of folks to get to. You know, if you'd like to go see it, I'm sure we could make arrangements for you guys to go. You know,
All
have
right.
somebody walk you through it.
Okay. Well, Alderman Bug, I believe it's temporarily stepped out, so it's up to the three of us. I think we'd have to get a consensus here, all three, to vote yes on this. I don't know how that would work if we didn't, but what's the will of the committee with us that are here?
Well, I just let you know, I'm gonna vote no on this because of the cost factor with the residents not chiming in. So however that one works out, I don't care. I'm just gonna let you know so we can make a plan in advance.
Maybe we hold off on this, maybe, until Alderman Bug comes in back.
Yeah, we've come this far. I can wait for Alderman Bug to return, right?
I don't know if he's coming back or not. Oh, there he is.
Okay.
We'll wait for Alderman Bug is back in the room. He's joining us back at the dais. Any questions, Alderman Bug? Nope. Okay, what's the will of the committee? Is there a motion to approve?
Chairman, so I'm on the fence on this, but I'm going to vote to move it forward for discussion at COW.
Do you want to just move it forward without a recommendation?
That'd be great.
Okay. I have a motion to move this item without a recommendation by Alderman Damborero.
I will second that.
A second by Alderman Carl Franco. If there are no further questions, all those in favor?
I'll discuss that.
Okay.
I appreciate you wanting to level the playing field for all subdivisions and all building development in the city. This is a special case where Nicor came to us, and we're involved in really groundbreaking situation for this small development. Every time a development comes in, every development is going to be the same as the ones that are already here. That's just not possible. So different developments, they come in, they negotiate, they get different things. That doesn't mean every other development in the city is going to get it. You try and do those things in the future, but that's not the way things work. Now, I mentioned before, when my area came in, they said, if you want a fire station, you're going to have to pay for your fire station. And we paid for a whole fire station by ourselves. No one else helped us. That's the way the developers negotiated it, and that's the way it came out. You don't see those people coming back now and saying, hey, reimburse us for the cost of that fire station. No, that's the way the development works. So it's fantastic that we have the opportunity to be in with this development, groundbreaking development. It is a feather into the cap of the city. We will be touted being involved in this and having OnLight, giving OnLight some good publicity, which they could use. Yeah, I will vote no, that we move this without a recommendation, because I think we should have a wholehearted recommendation to send this forward to COW. This is a great thing, and I'm not sure about the reservations. Other developments in the future, they'll be negotiated, and if we want to try and get services for existing HOAs, town homeowner associations, apartment, low public housing, we'll try and do that. But don't hold off on this situation, or cast a bad light on this situation because we haven't done it for the whole city. That doesn't, that's not the way you build a city with different developments. It's just not the way it works.
Chairman?
Alderman Frank, oh, well.
So let me be clear on
Real
what.
quick, 1 second.
I thought
Are
you
you
were done,
finished,
sorry.
Alderman Buggs?
Yeah, I am for now.
Oh, all right.
So let me be clear on what I'm saying. This is in my ward. I've been a proponent of this for a number of years now. I've been on right at the ground level of this. My angst is not with providing them. My angst is that they're getting internet for free. We couldn't put that internet on there and service there and then pay $20 a month, $25, where other residents are paying $100 to $250. That's my angst. I think it should be there. It's a great project. But to pay zero when other people are paying something, they can't pay something. They can't have any skin. That's my concern. Now, I'm not saying they should pay the same as everybody else, but I think that you should have something in there. You should not be getting something for free when other people are paying for it. Even if it's discounted, it's livable because they have skin in the game. That's kind of where my concern is for that. The paying zero for it, having it there is necessary. It's all great. But I don't think ComEd would have a problem if everybody had to pay $25 a month where everybody else is paying $100, $150. So that was my concern, not over the overall project. I want to be clear about that. Just because the equity factor that they're paying zero while other people are paying something. That's it.
Alderman Dambrou.
Yeah, my point was I'm not against the project. I think it's great. My point was there's a lot of other residents that are limited income and struggle to have connectivity, and we're talking about leveling the playing field. My point is that they're going to ask, why not us? So that was my point. But other than that, I do think this is a good project.
I will tell you, Mr. Anderson, that I am also in favor of this resolution moving forward. It is something that we don't have anything to compare it to. Yeah, it'd be great to provide something into it, but the negotiations already happened. We have a commitment to NICOR and to Habitat, I believe. And what we're getting back is data. We will get back data and feedback. It's also going to help us with how, hopefully, I'm not sure what's going to happen with OnLight. We're going to hear very soon what the proposed direction is going to be as well. But I would like to see this move forward with a recommendation, up or down, out of the committee. Though, as much as I respect my colleague here from the 5th Ward in his thought process as well. So, especially considering it's in his ward. So. We'll put it up to a roll call vote. Clerk, if you would. on this. The motion is to move it forward without a recommendation at this point.
Alderman Dan Barrero.
Yes.
Alderman Edward J. Bug.
No.
Vice Chair Carl Franco.
Yes.
And Chairman Masiacos.
No.
Two
So
yes, 2 no.
it doesn't move forward. Do I have a recommendation to approve, to move forward? I will make a recommendation to move forward, to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Alderman Ed Bug. Clerk, could you please take a roll call on that one? To approve, motion to approve.
Alderman Dan Barrero.
Yes.
Alderman Edward J. Bug.
Yes.
Vice Chair Carl Franco.
No.
And Chairman Masiacos.
Yes.
3
motion is-
yes, 1 no.
Motion's approved. Motion's approved 3-1. Thank you, Mr. Anderson.
Thank you for the discussion.
Okay. Clerk, Chief Jacobs, if you could let Alderman Larson is back in the room approaching the dais. While he's doing that, Clerk, could you please read the next item on the agenda? We are going to have this one here.
(25-0787), a resolution authorizing the execution of labor agreement between the City of Aurora and Metropolitan Alliance of Police, MAP, Aurora Information Technology, Chapter 525 Union for the period of January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2027.
Michelle Clark, Interim Chief Human Resource Officer. This item authorizes us to execute the labor agreement between the City of Aurora and the Metropolitan Alliance of Police IT Group. It will be, the contract would last from January 2024 through December 31st, 2027. And some of the highlights are that it offers standby pay as well as the wage increase. They get a 3.5% the first year and then a 4% for the remaining years thereafter. They started this process in January of 2024, wrapped it up in July or August of 2025. The reason it took so long for us to bring the item was because there was interest arbitration over 2 items, wages and the standby pay. And so now we've got that cleared up and we are presenting this so that we can execute this contract with this labor agreement. Are there any questions?
Thank you. Thank you. There was a few pauses there. I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Alderman Ed Bug.
Yeah, thank you. For clarification, and I want to be clear because this is what my question was about. The standby pay was set by an arbitrator?
Yes. Yes, it was.
Okay. So mandatory arbitration, and that was the finding of these numbers?
That was the finding.
Okay. So there's no wiggle room. I used to work for an arbitration company, so I know there's no wiggle room. So my question then is,
Can I, you're Dana Wysocki, Corporation Counsel. I just wanted to clarify that this did not go to arbitration. We were able to reach an agreement like 3 days before. So it was, this was before Ms. Clark became chief of, the interim chief of HR, but
Could
we
you
were
speak
able
closer to the microphone, please?
I apologize. This did not go to interest arbitration. We were able to reach an agreement with the union just before arbitration, just so you're aware.
okay, thank you
Sorry,
for
no
that.
problem.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. Clarification. So, only thing I wanted to ask, because the numbers are, I don't want to use the word extreme, but they are, it's quite a step up in 2 years. So, are there other bargaining units who have a comparable type of standby pay like this, $100, then the next year 175, then the next year 225. I mean, it increases more than 100% in 2 years.
I'm not familiar with the comparables. That wasn't, CBS did the actual negotiations. I can pull that information for Cal, though. That's information that we discussed at the time. So I know that they did look at comparables. That was something that we did a broader look than just the city of Aurora. But off the top of my head, I just don't remember the details on it.
Okay. Well,
I
yeah,
can
if we could get that information.
Yeah, no problem.
For COW, I understand how negotiations work. So if everyone else is at 225 and they're trying to get there, I understand that. And maybe they took even a little bit hit of starting at 100 to get to 225. But like if other bargaining units are at 225 and they're back at 100, I just, the progression there from 100 to 225 in 2 years is considerable.
Yeah, and there was some other negotiating things that were going on. So there's give and takes. So
okay.
But I can definitely get you the information on the standby comparisons for Cal, and then if you have further questions, we can certainly chat.
Great, thank you.
Chairman?
Alderman Denbrough.
Yeah, my question is, why don't we have this an executive session for discussion before we bring this out for approval? It's kind of awkward to have these discussions on.
Agreed.
Because typically that's been my previous experience, many years ago, where these things would be talked about. What was the council's comfort level in terms of before executing an agreement? But what we're doing now is here's the agreement, and we're asking the council to vote on it when we didn't have any input as to the limits of what's being agreed to, and so that's kind of awkward to me.
Yeah, I think part of it is the rush to get it done at the end of the year. But we can, if you want, we can go into executive session now and talk about it, or we can go into executive session Tuesday. Either is fine. I can prepare more information for you for Tuesday. But if you do have specific questions for me, we can go into executive session now.
I would prefer that, whether this moves forward with an approval or no approval, there's an executive session meeting with the entire city council, so you're not repeating yourself. I sort of agree with Alderman Barrero on that one. This is new, a new type of a union. We haven't had this before. A little context, historical context, I think also would be beneficial. Right now, my context is just maybe a snippet of a conversation I picked up or I overheard here or there, and I'd like to have more of a personally, a little more concrete understanding of the lay of the land and how we got to this point. Are there other municipalities around us or of comparable size that have this type of a union with their IT group?
With their IT group, yes.
Okay. In which towns?
I'm not sure which towns, but I know that
Or cities?
Yeah, I don't, off the top of my head, I don't have that comparable list,
Okay.
but I know that when we looked at, there were comparables. So, so the question of whether or not there are other cities with a IT union, the answer is yes. Off the top of my head, I don't remember what those
All right.
comparables are.
So again, another topic hopefully can be brought up and discussed if that can be worked out and planned for executive session on this subject.
That's fine. And if anyone has some other questions they want me to get some background on or anything, feel free to email me or pick up the phone. We can chat about it.
Okay. So
We'll plan on it for Tuesday.
So if it were to have an executive session with the entire COW, that would be this coming Tuesday, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, because this is on the agenda for Tuesday and for approval then at City Council Tuesday, so we'd have it then.
Okay, all right.
I move for approval.
Okay, got a motion for approval from Alderman Dan Barrero.
Second.
A second by Alderman Keith Larson. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you very much to both of you ladies. Clerk, could you please read the next item on the agenda?
25-0998, a resolution approving a professional services contract with Stratagem Consulting Group LLC for state and federal legislative consulting services.
Who will be presenting on this one? Oh, okay, it looks like Mr. Nicholas Thompson. Okay.
Hello, Nicholas Richard Thompson, Deputy Chief of Staff. If we can go, oh, that's the slide. So we are asking to move into an agreement with Stratagem. I'll briefly talk about the two main folks in Stratagem and then about some of their work and why we chose to go with them after a pretty competitive process. But we have Baltimore Lopez, who has a decade in government and legal experience, and his expertise ranges from policy matters, and he's also been an elected official in Elgin. And then we have James F. Claiborne, who was the former Illinois State Majority Leader from 2009 to 2017, and then also was the state senator for the 57th District from 1995 to 2019, and also is an experienced attorney. So we met with them both, and we met with several other lobbyists. We decided to go with Stratagem based upon their ability to consolidate both state and federal, and just a competitive pricing, but not in a loss or reduction in service. So they have existing relationships with our elected officials here, and that's in fact how we got into contact with them. We reached out to all of our elected officials and asked who are lobbyists that you would recommend, and we got a list and then brought several in, and then from that process talked about some of the mayor's agenda and talked about some of their expertise and the relationships that they have outside of just the elected officials, but with like a lot of the departments that we work with, like DCEO. So just knowing the institutional knowledge, having some of those relationships, and then being very responsive, which is something that's really important to the office, being very responsive. We want to be able to be competitive and be nimble and act quickly on particular things as they arise. If we can go to the next slide. This is basically what they offer in their scope of services. So like many lobbyists, they're going to do the legislative monitoring, they're going to do the direct advocacy, and they're going to do and secure funding and grants for you. The difference is, again, within Springfield, a lot of it really hinges upon existing relationships and knowing how to navigate the processes and the different deadlines, and from their scope of work and their strategic plan that we will be updating here in January if this passes. But what they first presented to us just showed an ability to constantly keep us updated, being in dialogue, and then being able to identify and analyze and monitor, state legislation as well as federal. And again, that was one of the key reasons why we went with them. They were consolidating some of their services, which led to a reduction in cost, which I'll get to later. But these are the primary services that we'll have. We'll get to the next slide. So this is the savings annually, about $50,000. And with these two, one of the things that I want to highlight again, we're getting these savings at still excellent service, and two very competent and seasoned veterans in the field. One who worked for the state legislature for decades, and another who's been an elected official for a municipal government, which I think adds just a layer of expertise and understanding of our needs, and being able to, again, navigate the terrain down in Springfield. If we can go to the final slide. Again, these services lead to a reduction in cost while maintaining excellent and responsiveness is something that we're really wanting to do, to be aggressive in securing some of these grants and securing funding for our capital projects, which we've already sent to them, and they've already begun working before. They're really eager to work with us and have met with me numerous times talking about some issues right now. So the recommendation is to go forward with these, but if there's any questions, I'm happy to take them.
There's going to be questions here, Mr. Thompson.
For sure.
For sure. I'm going to just step in real quick here if my colleagues will allow me first. One thing you didn't talk about is how the relationship's going to work with the council. But before we get to that, you said it was a competitive process. Competitive in what way?
So again, so at the beginning, there were some existing lobbyists that I think the mayor's office already had. We worked with them, had conversations with them, and then we reached out to our elected officials to get a large list of lobbyists that have worked with them in the past or people that they knew just down in Springfield, and folks that they recommended that they believe would represent the city of Aurora and our interests. Through that, we had a series of interviews with the mayor's office, very similar to the past administration. Sat down with them, shared priorities, discussed kind of some of the needs and issues and areas that we're going to be focused on, and then different lobbyists presented proposals, and we went through those proposals and kind of assessed which was best addressing our needs and kind of the relationships we wanted to build down in Springfield and in the federal government. So that is what I would describe as the process,
And-
as competitive.
Was this list of lobbyists shared with our local elected officials outside of, above the city level, state and federal, or just state?
Shared with them, so a lot of them came from them. So,
But you
once
said
it-
we asked local officials?
Oh, you said local
You
officials. I'm
said-
sorry.
You said local officials, so I'm figuring they're state and federal. I mean, who are the local officials?
I said state. I meant state officials,
Okay.
not local.
All right, because you said local initially, I have my note here. So ultimately, you only asked for state officials in regards to the lobbyists, and did you share the list with them that you worked from, or you just asked them to add to the list, or you just gave them a
Oh,
couple?
both, yeah. So we initially shared the list of lobbyists we were considering, and then we asked for a list from our elected officials at the state level.
Okay, all right. And so you said they're going to provide excellent service. How do we know they're going to provide excellent service when we haven't hired them yet?
Sure, that's a really great question.
Sometimes you get what you pay for, right? So I don't want to assume that we're going to get excellent service because there's savings. And our lobbyist is it has to be a very trusted partner.
100%. So if you look at the contract, it lists some of the folks that they already kind of have served and worked with. So I called a few of the organizations and did a background check, so to speak, and asked like how long have they worked with them, what were some of the things that they were really excited about with them, things that they had issues with, and the two organizations that I discussed with were pleased and shared nothing negative. So before we went forward in bringing this here, we did due diligence in regards to their services and expertise. And
Okay, and I'm glad you brought it up, that the list is on the proposal, because on the proposal, I don't see any entity that is a municipality or a federal entity in their proposal that they have as clients.
yeah, so the mayor wanted to go with someone who didn't have other municipal employees or clients right now. So that was also part of the calculus. So they've had clients in before that were municipal, so this isn't new for them. And then one, again, was a council person for a large city. And then you had the James Claiborne, who worked in the state legislature for decades. So
Why would the mayor not want to go with someone who has experience working with municipality right now as a client list, on their client list?
you'd have to ask him. I'm not entirely sure, but I know that was something that we discussed in the conversation where he was like, okay, and in terms of moving forward, appreciated that they didn't have other clients that they could primarily focus here.
Because the next big question is also, if they don't have a federal client already on their cost proposal here that you reference, why would we be hiring to do federal as well? So they're state, they used to be state elected officials. Why would we be, so they have some level of expertise with the state level. Why would we cover them for federal also, or hire them to be federal?
That's something that they offer and they've done in the past. So the goal really was here for having lobbyists that can be responsive and work with us on our legislative agenda, while also being able to consolidate some of their services. And that's one of the reasons why we have the $50,000 cost reduction yearly.
And who would they have done it with in the past? Federal. You said that-
Federal? I can get that for you. I know, not off the top of my head, but I can get that for you.
What's the thought process with combining the two? Just for savings? Because we went on a two consultant approach.
Yeah, well, so technically we had 3. So prior, we had 2 consultants, and then we had someone on retainer who handled our federal.
Right, okay. All right, because we didn't have both when I first started. It was a previous administration that we went into the federal realm. So, which I have no problem going into the federal realm. We've gotten some good support from federal dollars here to a city, especially through Congressman Bill Foster.
For sure.
Well, I would have loved to see, let me ask you this too. Is this a two-man team?
These are to be the 2 front-facing people. They have other folks on staff, but these are part of the contract as needed. If there's other folks who they delegate work, I don't, didn't go into the intricacies of how they're going to delegate work, but our whole goal was to ensure that we had 2 folks that we can have on contact. In our previous relationship with our previous lobbyists, we had 2, and the goal was to have something similar in model, so some folks who are in Springfield for us and can handle that traveling and can keep us abreast of what's going on. So these 2 will be the main point people, but they have other folks at their firm.
Now, the only thing you didn't bring up in your presentation was the relationship with council and how they would work with council, if at all. Is there something that there's been planned out to work with the aldermen or the city council?
Yeah, sure. So when we spoke with them, they've worked with, city governments before, and aldermen are a part of that. So if, let's say you had legislation that you wanted to bring forward or something that you wanted to get done down in Springfield, they would obviously support. So they're encompassing all of Aurora, right? So you being the legislative body would still have access to the lobbyists.
Two-way though, how would the two-way conversation work? You just talked about just a one-way conversation, us reaching out to them. How would it work for two-way?
As my understanding, it would be that one way. Now, if you'd like to discuss having that two-way, we can have that conversation.
Absolutely, I'd love to do that two-way, and I'll tell you why. Last administration, at the dais, I should say, at the podium, I remember asking staff, how would we get information and updates, at least biannually, from our lobbyists in regards to what they're doing, what they're working on, what's important, what's not important. I was assured that that was going to happen. The only thing that we received was a newsletter. We used to have a better communication with our lobbyists in regards to what exactly were the items that were of importance, potential importance, and how that would relate to anything that we're doing here at the City of Aurora. Also, we used to have a once-a-year sit-down option with all the aldermen and our lobbyists to also have a face-to-face. We also used to have, prior to 8 years ago, the lobbyists would reach out to us if we were going to go down to Springfield on certain, like on lobby day, and meet with us and coordinate with us anything that was important to us. And that sort of did not exist with the last lobbyist we had. And I would love to know if that's included in this proposal or not, if it was included in other proposals.
Council? I see you got to run.
There's another council here.
Oh,
That's here.
oh, Ms. Lang? Yes, I saw Ms. Lang walk in. Okay. You are graciously excused because my question was for council and it was coming quick and fast.
Okay. Me personally, Mr. Thompson, this is very important for our city, as we all know. I'd love to have more council input in regards to who our lobby is going to be. In order to provide that input, I'm going to speak personally for myself here at the dais on this committee. I'd love to know everybody that was looked at, who provided proposals, a comparison, price, services, what their clients are too. I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to hide it. It's a concern that I don't see any municipal clients on the docket right now for this entity. I have a concern, the fact that they don't have any federal clients right now on their docket. Not to say that they're a bad company, but again, there's not much that we know about them in order to say yes, or for me to say, yes, I'm ready to go move forward with this organization. I'd love to know that they're going to be providing all of them. I'd love to know all of those vendors that we went to, lobbyists, what was included. Are they going to be providing a biannual report to us in regards to legislation that affects or potentially affect the city? Are they going to provide that same service that I experienced when I came in? I was told that it was going to happen with our previous consultants, but it didn't happen. And I'll tell you something else that I'm also concerned about is ethics. Previous federal lobbyist throwing fundraiser for $2,500 in Chicago for a person elected here at the city of Aurora recently is of a concern. I want to make sure that any lobbyists that we have, they have a firm commitment, depending on also not knowing what's going to happen with our ethics ordinance, if they have any type of commitment, a certain level of ethics that they are willing to adhere to from all the vendors, not just one specifically. So I'm not quite sure what the will of this committee is. I'm sure everybody has some questions too in regards to this subject and this resolution. But I don't know if it's ready to be voted on at this point in time. But I will open it up here also to my colleagues. So with that, Alderman Bug.
Thank you. And I'll cut to the chase on this one. Council, Ms. Lang. Sorry to throw you in the fire. Yeah, there is a lot to unfold here, as the chairman mentioned. So I'm going to make a motion that this move forward without a recommendation and immediately go to executive session. This all has to be hashed out and not in this forum. There is a lot of information that we need to obtain and a lot of discussion we need to have, and it shouldn't be in this forum. It should be an executive session.
Second.
So we have a motion to move forward without a recommendation, and that includes also an executive session at COW level next week.
Yes, and we'll have to
And I
make
have a
sure
second by
it fits
a
into
second
the-
by Alderman Damborero. So now you can speak. Please.
We'll need to make sure it fits under the exemptions to get it into executive session. My understanding is the contract is up at the end of the month, just to
Right.
inform everyone.
Yeah, hiring situation, yeah, it falls, yeah. Yeah, my only other comment from that is some of the things that the chairman asked for. I'm going to assume that our one federal is NICOR. NICOR isn't just local, they are federal. And if they're a current client, that's federal experience. But yeah, if they're past municipal clients, that they don't have them now, but the past, will definitely need that full list of their past municipal clients. So just so we have information there that we can start with. So, yeah.
And then just to also add, Chief of Staff reminded me, one of the reasons that's really important right now for our lobbyists is Tier 2, and that's moving quickly, and we're monitoring that because the enhancements stand to, what it'll essentially do is add a stealth tax to property tax, and a lot of the cogs we're in right now are making a lot of efforts. But we being the second largest city or a city in the state, it's important that we are vocal on the issue because it will have major impacts locally to our residents through property taxes, Tier 2, as it stands right now. And we've already been in conversations with them, and the experience they have in the state legislature is really important and key and element to that. So I'll make sure I get all the questions asked before this is presented again. I know you were curious about how they'll work with you, and I want to just go over
I'm
to
not
make sure.
curious, don't get me wrong, it's not curious.
Well, no,
It's a
yeah,
solid
in the way
question.
that they would, and I just want to make sure that I had everything written down. You said you wanted a biannual report, correct?
I want to make sure, I mean, I want to see everybody that you talk to, I want that list for the entire city, for everybody here on this committee. And if it's going to move forward, recommendation or approval, the entire city council to know, everybody that we looked at, everybody had an opportunity to look at. If our state legislators here in this area had an opportunity to look at them, I think we should look at them as well. I want to think that the state legislators have a leg up compared to us in regards to what they're looking at and what's being proposed to us. I don't want to be a second fiddle. I want the aldermen to be involved in this. I think the relationship with city council is also very important, even though the day-to-day happens with the administration. I've seen the level of the relationship, the quality of the relationship when I first came in with the lobbyists we had. But as far as understanding your urgency, I know you could also, and it's been done in the past when I first came here, to have some small contracts, temporary contracts with lobbyists to continue working for us on the short term. If there is an urgency to move forward, I think there's ways to skin the cat per se in order to keep things moving while city council is, and this committee as well perhaps, is working on this resolution here with you.
For sure, yeah.
Right.
And that's why I wanted to make sure I had all the requests that you had. So I can go back to them because this wasn't discussed prior with them. So I want to make sure that this is something that they provide. I don't imagine it'll be an issue. They've been incredibly kind of flexible to the request and ensuring that they can meet the needs for our services. But you said you wanted to have a once-a-year sit-down with the alder people and our elected officials, or?
We just had a lobbyist who sit down with us once a year, gave us an option to meet with them once a year, and we'd get a biannual report, a written report, update after every session of the state legislature. And also the ethics. I want to know exactly what their thoughts are on ethics moving forward, and then I want to make sure that ethics, there's an ethics agreement in a proposal with whoever we hire, state and or federal, moving forward, because I don't know what is going to come out of, we don't know yet. I don't want to make presumptions of what's going to happen with our ethics ordinance moving forward.
Okay, that makes sense. So an ethics agreement possibly, and
Possibly,
then you want
for
to
me
report.
personally, absolutely, not impossible, but for me, speaking 1 out of 12 and 1 out of 5 here today.
For sure. Just don't want to be presumptuous and promise something that I have not spoken to them about.
Right.
So then you want to report annually, you said biannually, and then you
Or
want,
after every, yeah, absolutely. They meet twice a year.
Okay.
Legislature goes down twice a year in state level.
and then an option to meet with them.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely, but I want to know what all of them, I want to be fair across the board. We just went through this with a test scanner. We wanted to make sure, even though it was just 2, are they all giving us the same level of service, same price? But again, it is a concern when you tell me that you've talked to all the legislators to get our state legislators to provide input, and we didn't have an opportunity to give input. That's a concern. And I know why you did it, and I'm not saying it's bad, but I think maybe, we have an opportunity to understand what they looked at,
For sure.
okay? And to see through their lens also what the situation is. So I think I've said enough, I guess, in regards to this at this juncture. Alderman Franco.
So I have similar concerns to my colleagues. I'd like to know why, if our contract ends at the end of the month, why we're brought 20 days prior to make this decision, which is a significant decision. This is not the first time. We've had last-second stuff. So if we're going to make important decisions, we need a little bit more time to digest the information. That's number one. Number two, to me, this is a red flag that they have no other municipalities. You can say it's great that they have nobody else to do, but is that a good thing that they're not having other municipalities? Why don't they have it? I mean, to me, that's a big deal, because I want to know what their experience with the municipalities. Have they had them in the past? And I would like to see who said these are good people. I mean, who recommended them? What legislators recommended them and why they did it? I mean, these are all pertinent questions, just like my colleagues asked, but that's a lot of information that we don't have. And if we're saving $47,000, which is wonderful, As we know, though, lobbyists can garner us millions and millions of dollars. So if we lose $100,000 or $200,000 because they're not up to snuff, that $47,000 is gone. So I hope it's not just that. I hope it's the quality of work, because that $47,000 means nothing if we lose $1 million somewhere. So I just want to throw it all in the mix. These are definitely concerns we have, and we don't have a whole lot of time to deal with it. So there's a lot of disappointment there. So I would echo what they're saying. We need more information. Thank you.
Okay, so we have a motion to move forward without a recommendation, and to also have, part of that motion is to also have an executive session at COW next week with hopefully all these questions answered, information provided to us, being requested here by the committee. I probably recommend you go back and look at it on video to get all the questions worked out too, Mr. Thompson. So with that said, all those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes 5-0. Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Clerk, you know what, it's 4:56. We have 2 more items that I would like to hold. I think staff would agree that they're not pertinent, that they have to go today per se. There's 2 of them, correct, Clerk?
Yes.
Okay, those are items 25-0960 and 25-0959. So I'd like to hold those till the next committee meeting. I appreciate everybody for coming out today for those items as well, but we'll probably see you at the next one. Our next meeting is scheduled for late or mid-January. If there's a special meeting, we'll talk to staff if they want to have a special meeting on this coming up next month, early January, if it's beneficial to get things moving. So any concerns with that from the committee? Alderman Franco, your light's on.
I'm sorry, no.
Okay. Okay, so we're going to hold those 2 items till the next meeting, so.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Alderman Bug.
Okay. Yeah, accepted the grant program. Okay.
I've already had a discussion with staff.
Yes.
In regards to, those 2 items can be held.
Okay, so there's no deadline to accept those 2 grants?
Lieutenant McNamara, Aurora Police. There's no immediate deadline. These are grants, programs that are already in progress, but we can accept them later on. So
Okay.
as of right now, if we do this in January, it delays us, but it's not pertinent to do
All
it
right.
today.
All right, thank you for that clarification,
Okay. Yeah.
Lieutenant.
Our next meeting isn't until January 16th, so you won't get council approval really till late in the month.
But,
I
yeah.
mean, you say January, but really it's the last week. Approval's the last week of January, just the way this calendar falls.
They're year-long grant programs that we'll be able to fulfill our grant requirements, and we'll get it done.
All right, excellent.
All right, with that said, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion adjourned.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Carl Franco, second by Alderman Ed Bug. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion passed 5-0. We are adjourned at 4:59 PM. Thank you one and all, and have a happy holidays and Merry Christmas.